let's rehearse some possible intros.
Yeah,
Okay. So like, welcome to Product Fridays. We're the Andrews. We got to lean into that. People
yeah,
love the
100%.
Andrews thing for some
100%.
reason. Or we talk about what makes great products great and how we might create.
Like, welcome to Product Fridays, where two friends provoke each other until the best product wisdom sprays out of their nose like a hot geyser of blood. I don't know. I actually like that.
Okay. Here's the problem. We invented a fake podcast called Product Fridays because we like talking to each other. We like talking about products we like and how to make them. And
We're kind of bored. I think we were a little bored.
we're a little bored. And we recorded it on a Friday. And we're like, oh yeah, record it on a Friday, publish it on a Friday, Product Fridays. We now know that you need to record it before then. So that's one learning in the can. But we had this big debate about like, is this a podcast and it's a video clip that promotes the podcast, or is it just a video show? Where does it live? It kind of makes sense on LinkedIn because that's the content economy that we're participating in the most. But then you were like, who wants to watch like a boring 5 minute, 10, 20, 30 minute video on LinkedIn? I don't want to watch that, even though I think LinkedIn's actually trying to make that happen.
But we have the benefit of having actually put that thing out last week.
Yeah.
And I don't know if we're spoiling anything by saying that only the median or average, whichever one it is,
Yeah.
like ending point or the amount of time people got through. It was a 4 minute video. They got through 32 seconds of it.
Okay. Well, let's take a look at the
Yeah, go back to the tape.
the statistics here. What is
So,
the
okay, no,
link?
I've done this. You have to click more. Click more.
This?
No, no, no. Out of there. Click more next
Where?
to loved. But loved, then click more.
Oh, more. Okay. Okay.
Right.
Look at this. 756 impressions.
Yeah,
I don't want to use
me-
the I don't want to use the V word, but I think it's going viral. Okay. So why did we start doing this? Because you started to make your point about how long people want to watch.
Well, yeah. So you had just said, hey, maybe we should be trying to distribute a whole, 4 or 5 minute mini podcast on LinkedIn. And we kind of went along with that idea. And I think we published a 4 minute video. And yet, when we look at the stats, people only watched 33 seconds of it, which goes back to an original point you were making, which is, well, hey, people are, scrolling through LinkedIn while they're in the bathroom or something.
I would
Maybe
never do
we
that.
just drop the 30-second clip of our best pure content, but it directs out to a different platform where we have the more extended conversation, which is for the real ride or die Andrew lovers.
Yeah. I caught up with an old friend today. And he's like, what are you doing? I was like, it's funny. I just launched this little thing with my friend called Product Fridays. And he's like, oh, that sounds really cool. Where do I get it? And I was like, well, it's just a LinkedIn post. So if you search my name and go to my latest posts, and he's like, so is this going to be like on Apple Podcasts? I was like, we have no idea.
So I am overly heavily influenced by an article that a friend of mine wrote for his Substack, which was basically about how the new rule of media is that you got to be everywhere all at once,
Yeah.
whatever that movie title is, right?
Yeah.
So his point is like, hey, if you're a typey publication, you better get some people who can talk on camera so you can put it on YouTube or LinkedIn, and then also Apple Podcasts, but also Spotify with the videos, okay? And then you better have some live events, and you also better be reaching people, I don't know, in the Bloomberg terminal or something. And all that is to say is that I feel like it matters less to me which of these we hit first, so long as we feel like we can deliver something really cool in that tranche.
Oh,
And I
interesting.
think
Okay.
so.
Oh, go ahead.
Hey, like I'm all about distribution too, right? You always know me to be a distribution guy,
Classic
whatever
distribution
everyone
guy.
says. And I'm intrigued by how Substack is trying to basically go into the video world. I subscribe to Paul Krugman's newsletter. I'm not paying him yet. I'm about to. But that guy is just firing off interviews with other economists right and left, and you like get an email notification or an app notification, you tap it, and it's like a little GIF of Paul Krugman like kind of getting his settings all set up and some other guy beneath him, kind of like we're doing right now. I kind of love it because I can get that delivered to me. It's a push. And it also comes in the same place where I also could have some typing around it. Paul Krugman can introduce it with some text.
Yeah.
Because I agree, the thing that sucks about LinkedIn, and I'm thinking about this myself for like when should I blog versus LinkedIn? You can't direct somebody to your LinkedIn and say, look at
No.
our cool content on LinkedIn. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
So for me, then, I think the differentiating factor is if you go with Spotify, you are primarily targeting people who are going to be listening to you. Even though there's video, like we are, I think, making the decision to make a podcast, which
Yeah.
we kind of are. We're just talking to each other. There's no video accompaniment beyond our fun gestures like I'm doing right now.
Yeah.
And I think then, and to me, then YouTube is almost the wrong play as our central home. I think you still distribute there because you distribute everywhere in
Right.
the world we live in.
Right.
But if we just zoom over to Substack for a second, what Substack gives us would be a video platform, sure. B, like a notification system, like a relationship with the user through email that you don't always really have through Spotify.
Right.
But it is a little bit more friction. Like it's still kind of weird to listen to something on Substack. It's way more convenient to listen to it on Spotify.
Yeah, I mean, for Substack, it makes sense if you have like a newsletter Substack and that whole audience, and they're in the app reading you or they're getting your email, and then you add a podcast. What's funny about us is we're starting with a podcast, but it's kind of like Substacky feeling, kind of like Lenny's thing, like feels Substacky. It's like about product. I don't know. Maybe that's doesn't need to be true.
Oh, and also there's this intangible thing where I feel somehow less excited to say, well, I'm starting a podcast with Andrew and it's going to be on Spotify. That just
Hmm.
sounds like a lot of work. It sounds like a lot of like expectation and it
Versus a
makes
Substack?
yeah, I guess you're right. I mean, I guess what it comes down to, if we were just slicing and dicing up for LinkedIn, I mean, that feels like the quickest and easiest, but we can't have a long form conversation. But let me just explain why the LinkedIn thing
Yeah.
is interesting to me,
Okay.
because I almost enjoy the fact that it implies that there's this amazing, well-produced podcast or YouTube show or Substack out there,
Uh,
but we actually don't have to make it. We can just kind of pretend it's out there. And we choose the best nuggets, 30 seconds long each, to blitz out through LinkedIn, and no one's the wiser. That just feels like an amazing trick almost, where we get to have the benefit of that without doing a lot of work.
yeah, but it was a lot of work, and what end? Like, don't we want to have a thing that we can grow an audience for?
Yeah, that's true.
You know?
Yeah.
I mean, so is your point that like saying you launched a podcast sounds like okay, two more guys who think everyone want to hear them talk, like launched a podcast. They have no idea how hard it is to make a podcast, and podcasts have to be really good. And you're just like, I just want to talk to my friend, and like it's not a big deal.
I kind of feel like it's Substack. I
Yeah,
keep coming
I'm
back
I'm
to that.
open to that. I'm open to it for no other reason than like it's a new thing to experiment with, and it's kind of a community and a vibe that I don't know feels more adjacent to where
That's
we're
the
at.
thing. Like, I feel like when you are signing up for a Substack now, you are almost like logging into a community way more than if you're going to Spotify and you're clicking like subscribe, or Apple Podcasts clicking subscribe to a podcast. Like it just feels a
Yeah.
little bit more like it's the doors opening on something.
Okay, I think we've arrived at it. Reading their blog post announcing their video product 3 years ago. Wow. It really
Jeez.
takes a long time for products to like get in your. But you're also a bigger Substack user than I am. Then
Yeah,
there's
but I
this.
would not have guessed it was 3 years old. That's crazy.
Okay, so we do the Substack, and it's just called Product Fridays.
And I think we do minimal work.
Yeah,
I think
we can
Product
do some
Fridays.
text when we want, like when it's
Yeah,
helpful.
yeah,
Links,
yeah.
links to things you heard on the show with affiliate links because we got to make money.
Of course.
Huge revenue driver. Yeah.
And if we do that, it gives us a few things. A, it's a video platform, so that's great. We don't have to invent a video platform.
Yep.
B, it's a membership platform. People can sign up and we
True.
know who they are and they can email us and stuff.
True.
C, it's a distribution point. So we can send blasts out of our videos. And D, it's like a landing page. We can finally say, hey, if you're enjoying Product Fridays, here's the link. We don't have to say, go to Andrew Phelps's LinkedIn and find the place where you can look at his posts and then scroll.
Yeah. Okay. It's a way to put our toe in the waters, and it's a way for the thing to evolve in unexpected places. Go to unexpected places. Okay.
Okay. Well, Andrew, with the remaining, I see 18 minutes on our timer.
Wow. And that was
I
not even
say
the beginning of the call.
with the remaining, I say let's spend 2 minutes talking about the editorial philosophy of Product Fridays.
Okay. Go ahead and please tell us what that
I
is.
think at its core, we are trying to wrestle with the art of building products and having debates around what makes products good, and sometimes just nerding out about stuff we love. And that is not cohesive at all, but that's how I'm feeling so far.
Okay, well, I think you're on the track. Let's rehearse some possible intros.
Yeah.
Okay. So like, happy Friday. Welcome to Product Fridays, where we talk about products and how they get made. That sounded more interesting and fun in my head. Now it
Yeah.
sounds kind of generic.
Products and how they got
Or
made
great
kinda sounds
products
like
and how to make them. No, that sounds like a how
it
to.
sounds like how
Great
how
products
I
and how
built
they get
this.
made.
How I built this
Yeah,
handles that
fine.
stuff. You know what I mean? Like
Yes,
this is
you're right.
for those obsessed with blank, right? I don't know.
Like I was always from a young age obsessed with how bad restaurant menu design was, and I always wanted to like redesign it. It's like you're not thinking about the customer. I was like a little product manager, and I feel like in life there's so many bad, ill-considered experiences, and the good ones both make our brains happy, and we like to talk about those.
What if we set an overall goal for Product Fridays? Just talking out loud here,
Yep.
okay? We are trying to invent the next great product. And none of our conversation is targeted towards necessarily figuring out what that is, but we are helping refine our taste such that we will be able to.
Is
I don't
this
know.
is this like you mean like the McElroy brothers will be in Trolls World Tour kind of a thing?
I kind of like that
Like
actually. Yeah.
we don't know how or where or when, but we want we do, and we do make all these little apps in our spare time,
All the
sometimes
time.
together,
Yeah.
and we're both convinced that like that's the ticket to true independent wealth and joy is like making our own product.
So that sounds like a big weighty thing, and then
Yeah, it
already
does.
my brain's like, oh, well,
Yeah,
we got,
sounds more like Product
okay.
Mondays, am I right?
So what if we do this instead? It's a show and tell show.
Hmm.
Kind of a weird turn of phrase, but we always come with something that we want to show the other
So
person.
I
That's
always
a
have to
lot
show
how
up
our
with something. Yeah. Okay.
how our friendship works. You're always texting me something to think about, and I'm doing the same for
That's
you.
true. I guess we're doing it organically already.
I almost kind of like yeah, if we load up our notes app with provocations
Yeah.
for each other, one of those is going to hit, and we're going to say, "Oh, I really want to talk about that." And then, we can intro and say, "We're two great friends, debate the best in product." Well, okay, forget I said that.
Yeah, it's
But,
bad.
okay, Andrew, I've been thinking a lot about blankety blank blank blank. And then we're off to the races. It simply is a presentation and a discussion.
Like,
Yep.
are people here to like learn, to be entertained? Ideally, all of the
So,
above.
so I think
Inspired.
over, I would say provoked and entertained
Hmm.
and inspired are the things that stand out the most to me.
Okay.
Learning is a subsidiary effect. Like when you talked about your time at the New York Times and how the Apple Watch app got invented,
Yeah.
that's a really interesting behind the scenes tale that's both entertaining and somewhat educational.
Hmm.
But it was in service of this provocation that
Hmm.
makes people think about something.
Yeah.
And if we keep on spitting out great mantras like build unpopular apps, feels like a really valuable output of our little conversations.
Okay. So let's try again with the show intro.
Okay.
Yeah, you
Welcome to
go.
Product Fridays, where two friends debate what makes a product good.
Yeah.
This would be even simpler if we had a shtick, right? Where it's like we always are doing our crazy eights,
Yeah.
you know?
Because
Um,
we do want to like also talk about how to make stuff and like ideas for stuff we want to make.
I'm more interested in that than debating
Yeah.
random product decisions are in the news. Like, at no point do I want to be like, what does it mean that Apple has delayed its AI Siri integration?
Well,
Ugh.
I mean, part of me does want to have that for like different
Yeah.
reasons, but yeah, I know what you mean. Like, yeah. We don't want to be like a news analysis.
No, I'm not interested in that. I'm more interested in being playful in a way.
Yeah. Okay. So, for example, in my show agenda note, I was like, should we talk about LinkedIn's new video UI? Because we have like and the reason I put that was because you and I have now worked on like spent a lot of time working on a vertical video product, and we learned how hard it is to do video. Yeah, it is pretty boring actually.
Because I think what would happen is we would throw up the screen
Yeah.
and you would say something like, look at how the caption covers up part of the text on the screen. And I would say, and you can't even read the whole caption. I mean, what's up with that? I just don't think that that's
That's
fun.
great television, in my opinion. That's also why video is good because we can show stuff a lot. It's okay if you never watch, but we can screen share, Fig Jam, whatever.
Right.
All right. So I feel like we've got it. And then as soon as we try to don't try to do like a polished one. Just do like a dumb stumble
Yeah. All
through
right.
it.
Well, welcome to Product Fridays, where two friends provoke each other until the best product wisdom sprays out of their nose like a hot geyser of blood. I don't know. I actually like that.
Oh, that's good. Ship it. Ship it'll be our little like insider product joke.
Ship it.
Ship it.
Just as an aside, Anthony Mackie, who is a actor who performed in a bunch of Marvel movies, he plays Falcon.
Okay.
Apparently, he has this catchphrase that I saw in the behind the scenes like bloopers. Whenever he finishes a good take, he just yells, "Cut the check!" So it's like, him in front of a green screen with his like falcon wings on because he's a superhero.
Uh-huh.
And they're like, okay, cut. And he's lowered down. He goes, cut the check. I feel
Yeah.
like we should do that more often.
That should be like once we have the episode, one of us will yell that, and it's like a safe word. It's over at that point.
Exactly.
Okay.
You do your intro. I did my bad one. You do your bad one.
Um. Yeah. here's was something. Uh, you've been listening to Product Fridays, where two Andrews talk about products they love, products they hate, products they want to invent, and controversial opinions. That sounds like we're intending to be controversial. Opinions about how to make them, how to make products, how to build things, how to be creative and build things from scratch.
Yeah, we're groping for ethics.
Groping for
As
ethics.
the famous textbook once
We're
said.
obsessed with turning blank whiteboards into impossibly big, real things. And so we fixate on little things and we think about big things and problems to solve.
Yeah, I almost kind of
We're
like
like
that. It's
product
like,
managers in our real lives. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, it's almost like I mean, listen, our audience is product managers.
Yeah.
I think Lenny has the interviews with the famous people cornered. I'm not
Yeah.
trying to get like the COO of Miro to come on here and talk to us about how Miro became a unicorn company.
Right.
What I feel like we have to offer to all you product managers who are saying you want to listen to us on LinkedIn by clicking on the video
Yeah.
is honest discussion between two people who have been in and are in the trenches of products. And sometimes that's going to be a debate over whether products should be opinionated. Sometimes it's going to be us doing a crazy eights thought experiment and doing some fig jamming live. And sometimes it's going to be us grousing about the LinkedIn vertical video format. I think it should weight more towards earnest discussion rather than grousing. But everything in there is okay. It's not a big deal.
Cut the check.
Well, so let me ask you, like, how can we get like
Big clock.
a clock and or a series of like text boxes floated over something? I know nothing about
All right,
this.
I'm going to put it in the chat. All right,
Yeah.
where is the stopwatch function? So there's a setting for count up.
Okay.
Oh, only for page users. Are you telling
Well, why
me
wouldn't we just have countdown? Why would we count up?
to know how long we've been talking? Because
Well,
what are we
see, I'm
counting
all
down
about limits.
from and to?
I'm a limits boy, 5 minutes per agenda item. Boom, move on.
There we go.
Oh, nice. It's
It
going up.
was real easy, as it turns out. Yeah,
Hey,
it's funny. Like when I cook, I always do a count up timer
Oh, interesting.
because I'm like, I want to glance at the timer, be like, okay, 8 minutes, and then 3 minutes later, when it's 11 minutes, I'm like, okay, yeah, it's. I don't want to set like
But you have
100
to
timers.
but you have to remember
Yeah, but
how
it's-
long something's supposed to happen.
It's like a little assist. It's not like dependent. Like if I were boiling an egg, I would use a timer because you can't look at an egg that's boiling and know if it's done or not, and you don't want to keep that in your head. So you set a timer for that. But sometimes I'm like, how long has this chicken been on the stove ish? Because I'll lose track of time otherwise.
So you'll have a separate count up timer for the chicken.
I just have a universal timer that is.
But then you have to remember when the chicken came on.
Yeah, I guess it just I don't know. Yeah, I'm gifted in ways that you don't even know. I don't know.
I mean,
That's what I do.
that's a simple way to put it. Okay.
Otherwise,
But
it's hey Google, set a timer for 5 minutes called chicken. Hey Google, set another timer for 8 minutes called
that's
pasta.
literally how I think 90% of Americans
It's just so
cook.
much. It's so much like yelling at
Instead, you're
Google.
like, instead you're like, Google, start a stopwatch.
Well,
Go.
and Google always did that for me. Google always did that for me. And then they did some OS update. And now the Google Assistant goes, sorry, I can no longer do stopwatches on this device. The most basic function. And it's probably because I'm the only person who used it. But it's infuriating. So now I have to like take out my phone. I do Siri. Siri never understands. Oh, it looks like rain. It's like, God. So I just have to manually do it. I could buy a kitchen timer. I should.
Yeah,
But
time to
that's
go
like
analog.
more money to buy more stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, I get it.